Hi, creative friends. This is Soraya, and thank you so much for being here. So, I have allowed this to completely dry, and I have to tell you that I am borderline obsessed with my tea bags on the paper right now. I am honestly trying to find different words other than, oh my God, I love this. And, that just sounds so repetitive. But you guys, this is just a game changer for me. I am so mesmerized by the colors and the textures. And I just wanted to show you that I have been using these tea bags in my junk journals for a long time, and they've been perfect for dresses. And I'm just going to bring this up a little bit closer. And if you can see, I allowed some of the tea bags to kind of hang over the edge, and I ruffled it up at the top here, and it just suggests fabric. So I've been using this for a long time, but for some reason I never thought to like add them in this way. And so now what I started doing just yesterday actually is I put some of my tea bags in my cardboard books, and because they're completely transparent, you can see how the text from the dictionary pages shows through, and I'm absolutely loving it. So there are some great reasons to use tea bags, and I'll talk about that in a second. What I'm going to do for this video is I am going to be working on this piece, and I'm also going to be working on this piece over here. I've layered some collage, excuse me. So this is a tea bag, this is a tea bag, and this over here is a tea bag. And I put that down first. I just used some Mod Podge and glued it down. And then I layered this beautiful Thai black ink mulberry paper over top of the tea bag. Like some of it is over top of the tea bag and some of it is over the Bristol paper. And this is my handmade paper in a hot pink and gold. And I absolutely just am loving this situation here. So I'm just going to work on both of these pieces at the same time. And I'm going to bring this up closer, and I'm going to try to tilt it a little bit to the side here so that maybe the camera can pick up on all this texture. And if I tilt it, you can see it maybe a little bit better. But I mean, it's just simply delicious. It adds so much texture and color and interest and a sense of stories because I can see the previous layers, and I'm just smitten with this whole thing. So one of the great reasons to use the tea bags is that they are so thin, like they're really just gossamer thin. And so they seamlessly integrate into the page, and it really becomes part of the page you're working on. And the colors are so beautiful because they're already stained. They already have the tea stains on them. And what I do with my junk mail when I'm converting them into my junk journals slash art journals is I soak them in a solution of tea. So, it's a great way to, I mean, you already have the tea stains on the tea bag. So it's just a great way to give gorgeous color to your page. The another reason to use it is it's free. You're recycling it and saving it, from the garbage, the landfill, whatever. And one of the most important reasons to use this for me is because it is transparent. It gives my pieces a sense of story. Like if I can allow the previous layers to show through, already I'm creating like a sense of history on my page, if that makes sense. And if you guys are not tea drinkers, I mean, I'm sure that you know somebody who's a tea drinker, so you can just ask them to save their tea bags for you. And, as my daughter always reminds me, we are weird and wonderful artists. So I'm sure everyone is, up to speed on all our weird and wonderful ways and are willing to accommodate us when they can. Now, what I did for the this piece over here is I'm going to work with a different color palette. So this is going to be a little tricky here because I am going to go back and forth. And I love all the pinks that appeared on the page here. Now what I'm going to do for the second piece is I am going to use Prussian blue and orange, which is actually a cad red light, but it is orange. And I'm going to use that. And I also have this beautiful lime green. Now I almost don't even want to add anything on top of this because I'm just really loving the abstract quality of this piece over here. I'm just getting lost in all the textures and just so beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to move that off to the side for now. And I am just going to work on this over here. And I think I want to use my Stabilo, but I'm going to use the graphite one, not the blue one, just because I want to pick up on some of the, just the black and white graphic quality of this paper. And because this is already a semicircle, I'm just going to kind of follow those lines. And you guys, so many of you leave comments and tell me how even for you guys, circles are so meditative and relaxing and calming. And yeah, I'm just, this is like my therapy. And I look forward to it. I mean, every part of the painting process is beautiful, but some parts are more relaxing. Like when I start having to make decisions, that can get a little bit challenging, but in a good way. I mean, I enjoy all parts of it. And I'm just going right over the tea bag. And because I tend to gravitate towards the hot colors, I am making a conscious effort to dominate with the cools here and just see where it goes. Now I do have the hot pink, so I'm gonna work with that into my palette. And that's the thing about when you work with collage, the colors of the collage are really going to influence your palette. Not when I work in my cardboard books. I try not to let the collage dictate what colors I put in because, when I'm first applying my collage onto the cardboard books, I'm just covering up the glossy pages, but they still do kind of influence you. They just kind of have a way of, making themselves known. I'm just loving all these circles. And this is Prussian blue, a gorgeous, delicious, moody, multi-textured, multi-layered color. It's the one that Van Gogh reportedly used for Starry Night, if you needed an extra push to try it out. So I am going to completely clean out my brush because I want this orange to be like I want it to be untainted right now. And just add a little bit. And it just goes over so beautifully over the tea bags there. So now what I'm going to do is get my cashew out here and just kind of drag it through some of this white. And now I'm going to bring in this lime green. Now I have to admit this pink is kind of, it's throwing me off a little bit at this point because, you know, I have the orange and blue, and those are complementary colors, and so that always brings a lot of zing to the page. And now I'm going to add this lime green, but I have to admit this pink is kind of looking a little out of place, but we're still in, you know, we're still in first layers, so I'm just going to kind of go with it. I'm really loving this lime green here. Now, admittedly, this does look like a big juicy mess here. And, you know, that's one of the reasons why it's so amazing to work on quite a few um, substrates at one time. Like, just say in the summertime, I, you know, set up my table outside and I have 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces, whatever. You know, I can just really work on this really quickly, move it off to the side, work on another piece, and it's going to dry in a matter of, you know, 10 minutes in the sun. So it's just a great way to work. So, like I said, I almost don't want to work on this piece because I'm just enjoying the abstract quality of it. And I'm just going to bring in some lighter values here. And when I put this really light value next to this, you know, darker value, it really is going to draw my eye to this part once it dries. Like it's just the contrast of the values. It's a good way to draw your eye to something, and it provides interest to your page. Now this is still wet, so what I'm going to do is I am going to add a little bit of, like, I'm going to mix my Cad Red Light with my chalk paint in Cashew, and that's going to lighten, it's just going to add some interest to the orange here, so it's not all one value, I guess. So I'm just going to try to add some interest to this. And let's see where else I can add this orange. And I'm still feeling that this pink is like kind of out of place here. So I have to see how I can kind of give it more of a voice, so it's not so isolated, I guess, on the page. And I think what I'm going to do is maybe just add a little bit of fluorescent ink. I'm sorry, it's not ink, it's paint. It's fluorescent pink paint. And I'm just going to kind of like just give the pink more of a voice here. And see what happens. So sometimes we have to do things that, or I shouldn't say we have to, but sometimes I push myself to do things that are counterintuitive because, the pink to me was not integrated into the blue, orange, green color scheme. And so the first instinct might be to subdue the pink, but it seems counterintuitive to draw more attention to the pink. But by using this fluorescent pink, I think that I've given the pink more of a voice in this piece. And I know we're still in the first layers, but I just felt that the pink was out of place. And now by me adding this fluorescent pink, I actually feel that the pink is more integrated. And I know that seems so counterintuitive, but I'm just kind of gonna go with it. because that's what I'm feeling. And I'm really liking, I'm liking it a lot more now. So what I'm going to do with this is I am going to let this completely dry, and I will come back to it and do a part 2 of this particular one. Now this one over here, I'm just going to add it to my backgrounds because I'm just so loving the abstract texture of it. Like I might even cut it up and turn it into a cover for one of my art journals or junk journals. I'm not sure yet. So anyways, I am going to come back to this once it's completely dry and just kind of maybe explore some colors and textures and see where it goes. As it stands right now, I'm not terribly happy with it. I still absolutely am smitten with the tea bags. I mean, I absolutely love that. I love all the interest in color and texture and variety and just the way it can tell the stories of the previous layers. I'm just loving all of that. But I'm not, I mean, it's hard for me to tell because I just did it and I don't have the perspective. Plus, once it dries, it is going to look just a little bit different. So I'm not terribly happy with the situation right now in terms of color, but I'm gonna still work on it. I'm gonna come back to it and we'll see where it goes. Because who knows? So thank you so much for watching till the end, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.